wondering what your productivity system is missing, this is it. I recently had a revelation while looking at all my productivity tools where I realized there was one piece that I was missing. It's something I think we all use every day, but we often don't think about it long enough to optimize it so that it actually works well. So in this video, I am going to show you the one thing that is missing from your productivity routine and show you how to use it so that you can feel more productive and organized every day. So a productivity system in its basic form includes several different things, the first 4 of which I've talked about on my channel a number of times. This video is going to be about number 5, which I will reveal in a second. I wanted to talk about the first 4 really quickly so we all are on the same page about what we're talking about. Basically, it all starts with a capture method, which is where you input new tasks, ideas, thoughts, projects in so that they get captured by your system. You can have as many capture methods as you need, but should try to only have as few as you can get by with. So for example, I capture a lot of things on paper when I'm working. I often have a piece of paper right next to me. That's a capture method. Then I input those into my task manager, which is the second part of a functioning productivity system. And because I like rainbows, we're going to use orange. A task manager is very simple and self-explanatory. It is the place where you house your tasks and projects. It can also be where you flesh them out. So for example, your task manager might include a bunch of tiny little tasks that are just like go get milk and feed the cat, but it also might include larger projects that need much more detail and to be fleshed out. And so those bigger projects and those smaller tasks should all be able to fit in one task manager. The third thing is a calendar. Again, you should just have one of these, just like a task manager, and again, it's very simple. A calendar is where your appointments go. So a task manager is where your tasks go. A calendar is where anything that needs to be scheduled goes. Any appointments, any meetings, anything like that. And again, it's recommended that you just have one, or at least one app that aggregates like your millions of calendars, whatever. And then lastly, we have the note taker, which is basically where you house all of your notes. Some people like to take notes on paper. Some people like to house it all in a digital format so it's easy to search. It's totally up to you. And then the fifth and final thing that most people are missing in this system is a day planner. A day planner is the thing that you actually sit down with when you are creating your plan for a specific day, usually that very day you are experiencing in that moment. And you use your day planner to lay out your tasks, your agenda, anything you need to have a reminder of, anything like that goes in your day planner for that specific day. It is what you use throughout a specific day to get by. But usually it's not something you are doing weeks or months in advance. You'd use your calendar for that, or maybe your task manager if your task manager can schedule tasks for you. But you use a day planner to note appointments that you have during that day and note tasks that you want to get done during that day. So a day planner is what you use at the start of your day to map out what you are doing, basically. If I haven't said it enough times already, a day planner is for day planning. Now you might be looking at this list and saying, well, I can get by with just these 4 things. And that's fine. If you can get by with just the first 4, that's fine. But I really wanted to talk about day planners here because I think we are all secretly actually using some type of day planner without even knowing it. So I'm going to give you some examples. You will often see examples in paper planning. I want to show you the full focus planner here really quickly, which is a planner I used to use actually quite a lot. And this is effectively a day planner. So you will see a lot of notebooks and paper planners branded as day planners, and they usually have the specific things that the full focus has. So I just think it's a good example of a day planner, although I think they would call themselves more of like a goal planner or something, but their basic functionality is day planning. So a day planner often has a full page for a given day. It has the date on it or a place to write the date. So this would be where you would write the date. And it also has a place for your tasks and a place for your schedule. Now, the Full Focus Planner has its own little system, so it wants you to write your big 3, your most important tasks. It has morning rituals and things that you want to complete and all that kind of stuff. It has its own key. So a lot of day planners do come with their own fancy system attached to them, but I will say most of them do have plenty of space for you to write your own tasks, for you to write your own schedule, and for you to write your own notes. And all of this is contained in the day. At the end of the day, you want to take anything from here that is important or will outlive the day, and you want to put it back into your productivity system in another way. So if you're writing notes here, you want to process those notes at the end of the day and say like, okay, this note I need to keep in mind for 3 weeks from now. I'm going to put it in my schedule that I booked an appointment with Sarah
for my haircut or whatever. But at the start of the day, you're coming in here on a totally blank slate and you're saying, okay, what are the tasks that I need to get done today? I'm going to write them all out. And then what does my schedule look like? So if I'm waking up at 6 a.m. and going to bed at 9 p.m., what tasks can I fit in where? Do I have a long lunch appointment that's going to take up most of the day? Or am I able to, do a lot of tasks? It's basically just giving you a full overview of what you are doing on a given day so that you can plan it all out on paper and then put all of it back into your productivity system afterwards. Now, if you have a day planner like this, you are probably used to the day planning as a function of your system regularly. But I want to show you how I actually do day planning most of the time. And I do it in two different ways. So I do it on paper in a regular planner, and then also sometimes I do it digitally in a program called AccuFlow, who's actually sponsoring this video. We're going to talk about AccuFlow in a second, but first I'm going to show you how I plan it on paper in case you are also a paper user. So often what I do when I am planning for a day is I will come into my Hobonichi weeks. This is the Hobonichi weeks for 2024. And I will plan my day by writing out my appointments and my tasks. So actually this is like an upcoming week. Let's find a blank week that I can mess with. Okay, this week in February, I guess I wasn't using it. Let's use this week. So for example, I would come in here and what I would do is I would divide up this column. This is just the way I like to do it. You can do it any way. I would divide up this column, and then on this side I would write my schedule, and on this side I would write my tasks. So I often call them events and then my tasks. So you can see this is really small. So writing out these things is basically what I do every day when I come into my planner and I am like, okay, what events have I booked for myself that day? What tasks do I need to do for the day? And I will do it like this every single day. Now these tasks are often pulling from my task manager, which I actually have as a digital program. I use Things 3. I think by the time this is up, yes, a Things 3 tutorial will also be up on my channel, so you can go to my Things 3 tutorial if you want to know more about how I use my task manager specifically. But basically, I pull from my task manager and I say, what can I actually get done today? And then I write it here as part of my day planning. And then anything that gets checked off in this journal gets checked off in Things 3. So this is how I would day plan in just a planner that has space for each day and a little bit of breathing room. But there are lots of other ways that you are probably already day planning, even if you don't realize it, and lots of notebooks that have day planning functionality that's not quite as obvious or in your face as the full focus planner layout is. For example, this is a Hobonichi Cousin, and all of the Hobonichi Cousin daily pages actually have day planning sections. They're just not highly labeled because the Hobonichi Cousin obviously wants to be a really flexible planner for you to use the dated pages however you want. But as you can see, it has a timeline right here on the side for you to write out your schedule if you so choose. It has checkbox items up here for you to write out your priorities or task list for the day if you so choose. And then of course it has all of this extra room for your extra note taking or task planning or whatever you want to do for that specific day. So this is also a day planner, and it has actually all the elements that I talked about a day planner having. Or you can kind of Frankenstein it into another planner with another layout, and that's also fine for day planning as well. I would even argue that the method that we think of as doing dailies would be considered day planning. Dailies as a concept comes from the bullet journaling world. So if you haven't heard that before, go look it up. It's related to bullet journaling, but basically dailies is your daily list of tasks, and this is also day planning. And actually here you can see I was using the same method that I was using here. So I have a column for events and a column for tasks, and here in my day planning, which I did in 2023, I was doing check boxes for tasks and circles for the events during that day. And then, fun stickers, because who doesn't love a sticker? So there are lots of ways to day plan. You are probably day planning already without even realizing it, but I do want to talk about digital options because they make some pretty cool digital programs now for day planning that I think would be very useful to you. And one of them is AccuFlow, and they happen to be sponsoring this video. So AccuFlow is an app that combines your to-do list functionality and a task manager with your calendar so that you can always see both at once. So basically you can use AccuFlow as a day planner just as you would with one that's written down like the full focus planner. And you can do that because coming into this today view, you can see that on the left-hand side, I have my to-do list, or I have space to write a to-do list.
And then on the right-hand side, I have the day's schedule. Now, right now, it is obviously almost 2 p.m. and I have been filming for quite a while, but ordinarily I would open up AccuFlow at the start of the day and do this process. So let's just imagine that that's what I'm doing. On the left-hand side, I can start writing tasks right away. And still today, I need to go to the post office to drop off a package for my mom, and I need to pick up our mail because currently our door is broken and our mailman can't get into the building, so we have to go to the post office to pick up our mail. Other things I need to do is go grocery shopping and cook dinner, and I also need to do laundry. So those are the things that I need to get done for the rest of the day. And the cool thing about AccuFlow, because it is a day planner, is that I can drag over my tasks right onto my calendar and it will appear as scheduled. So boom, it's gonna take me maybe 15 minutes to go to the post office and drop off things for my mom and pick up my mail. So in total, that's a 30-minute errand, and I can just drag around how long I think they will take right there on the calendar, which is pretty cool. If I wanted during my day planning, I could also create these things called time slots. So say around 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. I want to start cooking dinner and doing the laundry. So I could create a time slot by clicking on slot here, and it could be called chores. And then under chores could be cooking dinner and doing the laundry. And from there I could schedule them, maybe I'll do the laundry first and then cook dinner at like 6 p.m. or something. So now if I come in here, I can see that there are 2 tasks underneath this 5 p.m. slot. If I wanted, I could also open up any of these tasks or any of these time slots, and I could do what's called locking them to my calendar. So this little lock icon currently indicates that it is locked to my appointments calendar, which is the Gmail account that I have set up to sync into AccuFlow. Speaking of that, AccuFlow does have a number of programs you can sync into it so that you're always seeing the to-do lists you may be working on in other apps or the calendars you may be using in other apps. It can all sync together in AccuFlow, which really makes this a good one-stop shop for all of your productivity needs. Particularly, I want to shout out the Slack integration here, which is so seamless and huge for my workflow, but they also have Notion, Asana, ClickUp. Everything you see on the screen here and more integrates directly into the app. And they also offer one-on-one user onboarding, not just for like the integrations, but also for the entire software. I think this is such a cool feature. Literally for free, you can hop on a call with an expert who will walk you step by step through the app. So if this sounds up your alley, I will leave a link for everything in my description box below. Check it out for a free trial and give this a shot if you're interested in day planning in a digital context. One question I get every time I show off my day planner is, isn't it just duplicating tasks to have to write them down again and keep track of them in 2 places? Well, yes and no. I find that a day planner really helps me focus and hone in on what's getting done on just that day. Whereas if I'm in my task manager or calendar, I tend to get distracted by what's coming up tomorrow or next week. So I enjoy having day planning in my system, but what about you? Does it feel like an extra step to you? Are you already doing some kind of day planning without even realizing it? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you want some advice on other key aspects of your productivity system, I will leave a video on that right here next to my head for your viewing pleasure. Besides that, thank you so much for watching, for being awesome, for being subscribed, for commenting, for vibing, for hanging out. I love you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.